today I'm going to introduce and show you the power of the Business Pentagon, the effect of 5 essential numbers or business multipliers, which when combined will produce an exponential effect on the value of your business beyond your wildest dreams. Increasing individually each of these business multipliers will produce geometrical growth, that is a straight line growth. But increasing all of these multipliers combined, even by a small amount, will produce exponential growth. Now, you may have already heard some of these concepts or multipliers before, but I want to show you today what the effect is on just a typical small business of increasing each of these multipliers, even by a small percentage, to show you just what can be possible. So the 5 multipliers are: number 1, increasing the number of leads. Number 2, increasing the conversion rate of those leads into sales. Number 3, increasing the average sale value of each sale made. Number 4, increasing the gross profit rate of your business. And 5, increasing the valuation multiplier that applies to your business. Now, as I mentioned before, we only need small increases in each of these multipliers to have a massive effect on the value of the business. So let's go through a typical small business situation and see how that can be improved. So let's look at the first business multiplier, which is the number of leads. Now, we're going to assume in this instance that the business has 2,000 leads per annum. Now, leads can be measured in a number of different ways. It could be the number of subscribers, could be the number of phone calls and inquiries, the number of people who apply for a quote. So there's a number of different ways you can measure it, and each business is going to be slightly different. It has to be easy to measure. So we're going to assume 2,000 leads in the first instance. Then we're going to assume that out of those leads, they convert 20% of those leads through to sales. So that equals 400 sales per year. Now we're going to look at the third business multiplier, which is the value per sale. And in this instance, we're just going to assume that it's $2,000, reasonably high-end item, and we're going to measure that by the average invoice value. So 400 sales at an average invoice value of $2,000 equals $800,000 in sales a year. So let's go to the fourth business multiplier, which is gross profit. Now, in gross profit, we're going to assume it's slightly different to the normal one you've heard, and it's going to include both the costs of leads and the costs of conversions, as well as the cost of goods sold. So in this instance, we're going to assume a fairly standard gross profit rate of 50%. So what a gross profit of $400,000, and we're going to assume that the expenses in this business, including the owner's salary, are about $350,000 a year. It's giving us a profit of $50,000 a year. So it goes to the fifth business multiplier, which is the valuation multiplier. And we're going to talk about this more in another video, but most small businesses are probably sitting between the range of between 1 as a valuation multiplier up to about 4 at the level. And we're going to assume for this instance it's at the 2, which is at the lower end of small businesses. And we'll discuss more about the valuation multiplier. So the business is worth $100,000. So let's look at what happens when we increase each of these figures by just 10%. So we're going to increase the number of leads by 10% from 2,000 to 2,200. Now, there's a number of ways we could do that. We could do some advertising, we could change our referral systems, we could get more leads from our website. So there's a number of different ways we can do it, and we're only looking to do 10%, which could be 10 ideas that produce a 1% increase. So there are only small increases at each time. And we're going to assume that we're going a bit better at selling. We're going to improve our proposal documents. We're going to improve the authority of which we're presenting to our clients. So we're going to increase the conversion rate from 20% to just 22%, just a 10% increase. So now we've increased the number of sales that the business has made from 400 to 484. But we're going to take that one step further and use the next business multiplier. So we're going to increase the average sale value by just 10%. And that could be we increase the price of of our goods, just a straight price increase of a couple of percent. We could do some upsell and cross sells to increase it further, so we get to a 10% increase. So it's a number of small increases to get to that 10%. And so now we've got a average sale value of 2,200. So now sales have increased to 1,084,000. But we're going to take it one step further again, because we're going to increase the gross profit rate to 55%. A 10% increase, we've become a bit more efficient at buying, or a bit more efficient at providing the service, or we've decreased the costs of acquiring our leads or our conversions by becoming more efficient and dropping out the inefficient or unsuccessful versions of our marketing and advertising. And for the purpose of this, we're just also going to increase expenses, because we've got a slightly bigger business, by 15%. So by just increasing each of these 4 business multipliers, we've increased the profits of the business from $50,000 to $183,000 a year. A 266% increase in profits just by increasing each of these items by a relatively small amount. But we're going on to the 5th business multiplier, which is the valuation multiplier. And now we've got a slightly better business, because we've been measuring our systems, we've been measuring our marketing, we've got systems in place, we've got a bit more time to be able to do things, and the profit of the business is better. So therefore we've increased the valuation multiplier from 2 to 2.5. It's still at the lower end of most small businesses, but it's at 2.5. And so the business is now valued at $460,000. So we've got a 460% increase in the profit, in the value of the business. So let's look what happens when we take that again to the next year, because this is a process of continual improvement. So we increase each of these 5 business multipliers by just a small percentage. So we increase the number of leads by 10% again. We increase the conversion rate by 10% again. We increase the average sale value by 10%, and we increase the gross profit rate again by 10%. So we're just increasing small increases in each of these 5 business multipliers, because it's a continual process of improvement. You're understanding your business better and getting a better idea for what works and what doesn't. We'll discuss in future videos how we can increase each of these items and come up with ideas to increase each of these business multipliers along the way. So now at the end of the 2nd year, we've made close to $400,000, and because we've made these additional profits, we've also increased the valuation multiplier, and so we've got a business worth $1.2 million. But let's take that another step, and because this is a continual process, increase it again by just 10% on each of these business multipliers. And so just small increases in each of the 5 business multipliers has increased the value of this business to $2.5 million. And it's making $700,000 of profit in a year. But let's take that one step further, because it's a continual process, and let's increase it again so that we can see exactly how powerful this is. So now we've got a business that's making $1 million a year, and it's worth close to $5 million. So we've seen how we can take a business just by making small incremental continuous improvements from a business that's worth $100,000 to almost $5 million in just 4 years. There was no dramatic increase in each of these 5 business multipliers. It was just a process of continual improvement. But imagine what you could do if you could increase one of those business multipliers by 20, 30, 40%, or even 100% by some changes, and that is quite possible. Over the next 5 videos, I'm going to go into more detail about each of these 5 business multipliers and how we can apply them and ideas that we can use along the way. So stay tuned, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video about how we can improve the first business multiplier, lead.